Welcome to another episode here at Deep Mountain Security. Today I kind of want to go over Windows Firewalling a little bit. So let's go ahead and open that up. So if we type in Firewall into the Start menu, we're just going to go straight into the firewall itself. So first of all, in Windows, especially Windows 10, that's what I'm working in right now, you've generally got three different kinds of networks. You've got public networks, private networks, and then domain or workplace networks. So within these, you've got different settings for each one of them. And generally, Windows will ask you what kind of a network you're connecting to when you try to connect to something. It'll ask you, what kind of a network is this? And you can tell it, oh, I'm in a coffee shop. This is a public network. Or, oh, I'm at home. This is the private network, And then it'll use that information to try and determine what settings it should give you. I kind of want to go over some of these different settings and configuring it to be a little bit more to your liking and whatnot. So first thing of all, you can go ahead and turn it on or off. That's a given. You probably should leave it on unless you're testing stuff. If you turn it off and then your app works and turn it on and then it doesn't, then you probably have a firewall rule that's blocking it. So you need to add a rule to or an exception to allow something through. You can always restore the defaults if you think you've messed something up too much. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and go into our advanced settings because we always like the advanced stuff. Yep. And so you're going to say, here's our three different profiles. Public profile is currently the active one. And then a little bit of information about them. So you're going to notice on the left-hand side here, we've got a couple of different sets of rules. We've got some inbound rules and then some outbound rules. And this looks like a ton of stuff, but I assure you it's really not that complex. I mean, look how many of these are like Windows Defender or, Windows Management or Windows Media Player goes all the way down to here. Or Windows peer-to-peer stuff, or remote management, So, you can go through some of this very quickly and figure out what it is. And you're just going to notice that there's just tons and tons of options here. The different ports, users that are authorized, what kind of action to take, where, who can do what, and, what things go to what. For example, some of these things are going to be doing completely different things. Xbox, haha. That's probably something to do with the Xbox app. But anyways, so yeah, just like tons and tons of stuff. There's rules for Mozilla Firefox, so it can, use the program through TCP and UDP. This is inbound. So, when I send something out and it sends something back, Mozilla Firefox can go ahead and open up something to receive the data back. Outbound rules is going to be slightly different, but still fairly similar. You're going to have all kinds of applications and protocols and stuff. You're going to Skype call out. Pandora needs to get out. Paint 3D, I suppose, it has something it needs to do through the network, and that'd actually be kind of interesting to watch. My Office, I have no idea what that is because I think Microsoft Office is separate, but I don't know. File and printer sharing. This is generally... one thing to note is, so when you change profiles, it's going to change which one of these rules are active and which ones of them are not. So like, for example, all these file and printer sharing options right here will most likely get turned off as soon as you connect to a public network. So if we kind of extend this out, we're going to see that these are only in specific items except for this one specific protocol, which is allowed out on any network. However, the other ones, you have to be on a domain or private stuff. I guess some of them say public on them to send stuff out through that protocol. So it's just going to change up. What Windows is trying to do here is it's trying to determine, are you in a secure environment or aren't you? I personally don't think it does a very good job of assessing that because your home network could be compromised and you never even know it. And then it's, attackers could use your computer for whatever. Cryptocurrency mining, anyone? That's actually been really big in the news lately. If you see your CPU spike after opening a web page or something weird like that, you might want to look into it a little bit more, just saying. But besides that, so Windows is trying to determine how secure your network is based off of profiling. They do it very simply with 3 profiles. However, I would recommend, if you have the time, sit down and get to know the Windows Firewall a little bit better. See what kind of rules are in here, what some things are doing, and then, decide if maybe there's some things that you don't need on. Core networking, you probably need core networking on. But some of this stuff like Groove Music or, I don't know, Microsoft Pay or Microsoft Photos, maybe I don't want some of these open, so I can go ahead and just completely disable the rule or turn it off or whatever. If we can go ahead and disable it or do all kinds of stuff. But anyways, you guys kind of get the idea here. So Windows pretty much says, here's what I think, and here's what I'm recommending. Other things that we can do with these is we can create exceptions and other kinds of rules. So if we go, let's go to inbound rules, and let's say I had an app that was listening on a port, or maybe I had a web server or something like that. But anyways, so there's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of define a rule. You can have a rule for a program, let this program do whatever it wants. Or a port, I have programs that are listening on this port or that need to use this port. Or there's some even predefined stuff here that some people use over and over again, like wireless displays or wireless LANs or remote desktop or all kinds of stuff here, it could just vary. Remote shutdown, maybe I want to allow remote shutdown. Or we could go ahead and create a custom rule and define what exactly we want it to do. So you're going to notice as I click on different ones of these, it's going to kind of change what the steps are and the thing. So then if we kind of go through here, we can kind of see that there's a couple different options, a scope, which profiles we want it to apply to, and then we end up getting a name and add a description to our stuff. So, this is for the inbound rules. We can also do the same thing on the outbound rules. We can come over here and go new rule, and then we can do all kinds of stuff. So we can go new program. Here's a program path, or we just apply it to every program. Allow the connection or block the connection, or allowing the connection if it's secure. What this does is it only allows connections that have been secured by IPsec, so they're already encrypted, and then you can kind of go in here and get even a little bit more advanced, and they're pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go into details. You can allow connections to specific computers or skip rules or do all kinds of stuff here, but anyways, you guys kind of get the idea. That's how it works, and it's pretty simple. So yeah, this really isn't all that difficult. It's a good thing to know how to do. So for here's looks like a couple different rules for HTTP and HTTPS web servers. So if I had I guess this is outbound, so it allows me to get out to any web server rules. If I came into here, I could allow it to inbound rules. So here's what's coming in from those ports on those remote computers. So when you visit a website, these are kind of important, and they do other things as well. But anyways, so there's rules for every protocol and everything that your computer does when it connects to the internet. If your computer connects to the internet, and it's Windows and it has this firewall, it probably has a rule in place to allow the said connection. You could also create rules to block stuff. If we go to new rule, let's go to a port and then let's go to TCP. Let's not maybe port this random port. We can go next and we can go block the connection. We could call it block this random port. This is a random port. I can't spell tonight. I am blocking. Alright. Then we can finish. And you're going to notice it was added into here. So now if we kind of look through here, to kind of try and figure out where I put it, it's going to be in here somewhere. Here we go. Block this random port. So you can see it's a block rule instead of an allow rule. All the green ones are allow rules. This is a block rule, and so it's just blocking stuff to the specific port. And you can do this for any program or any port or anything essentially you want. You know, if you want to allow or disallow access to internet or specific ports or programs or stuff like that. So, you know, it's probably not as easy to use as, you know, some of the more simpler firewall programs out there, but it definitely has its benefits and uses and definitely works pretty good. And that's going to conclude my video for tonight. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.